Tell me the story of how you first got deeply involved in running a library, which is a great tale because it involves a Supreme Court justice.
It does, Rebecca. So good. And let me just say again, what a pleasure it is to be virtually in Maplewood and hopefully someday in person. And to everybody who's joined us this evening from wherever you are, thank you for making time for this wonderful and important topic. And congratulations to all of you for the great work that's going on at Maplewood Memorial and the exciting building project. My working in library story, we all have that sort of visiting library story is a different thing, but my working in library story was somewhat unexpected. I've always considered myself a huge fan of libraries, a believer in libraries. But in the mid 2000s, I was working at Harvard Law School. I was a professor and was director of a research center that was called the Berkman Center for Internet and Society, now the Berkman Klein Center, and was teaching on the topic of internet and the importance of access to information and knowledge from a kind of an equity perspective and a reach perspective. And one day I got a summons into the dean's office at Harvard Law School. And the dean at the time was Elena Kagan, now on the Supreme Court. And if anybody has ever met Justice Kagan, she's a very persuasive person and also an extraordinarily brilliant, amazing boss, a really wonderful person to work with and for. And she said to me, would you have any interest in being a candidate to be the director of our law school library? And I said, Dean Kagan, I'll do anything you want, but I hadn't really thought about it. And she said, well, maybe think about it. And so after an appropriate search and so forth, I ended up as the person who was vice dean of the law school and responsible for library and IT under Dean Kagan. And she had an idea, and the idea was basically to say, we had oriented our law school library toward the analog era, and it ought to be oriented toward a digital era. And she wanted somebody to come in and do that. But who would have a love of the library itself. And it just turns out in a quirky way, law schools have for a long time often had library directors who are not actually librarians, but rather are professors who then work with professional librarians. And so I was, embedded with and working with, there actually were 100 people working in the library at the start of the time. And it was just an incredibly fun, interesting, transformative time. We did cross the threshold of 2007, 2008, which meant that there was a lot less money than we thought at a certain point. And so it results in a lot of staff and other disruption, but the idea and the ability to do the transition that Maplewood has been doing and is doing to envision what a library can be in a digital age, that was really the fun and the excitement of that project.